And this old bum ass nigga put his ass in the dirt. Hey, stop that cat. Man down, Errol Spence laughs at Blair the Flair Cobbs. Says he's a bum. I guess Errol Spence gets the last laugh. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. You guys heard the clip, Errol Spence Jr. Man down. Hey, strat season. Upcoming fight April 16th against Cuban boxing connoisseur. That's what I'm going to call him. Who just beat Manny Pacquiao. I want to, it's up to my party, I'm going to, He just beat Manny Pacquiao. And that's your Dennis Ugas. That's what Errol Spence is getting ready for. And you guys heard the clip at the beginning. He pulls no punches and he gets back at Blair the Flair Cobbs. Now, for you guys that are just tuning in, and maybe it's your first time catching up with this story, I drop boxing news daily, the latest and greatest. Over the course of the last 28 days, I looked at my YouTube analytics and it showed me something. It said 50% of you that watch my content are subscribed. That means the other 50% consume my content for the last month and didn't hit the subscribe button. You may have forgotten, you may have not known this was important for creators. Sometimes YouTube even unsubscribes you. So if you guys could click the subscribe button so I can continue to drop the hotness on YouTube, all things boxing, this is your one-stop shop. Now, back to it. This is not out of nowhere that Errol Spence decided to taunt Blair Cobbs. In fact, if we're being honest, Errol Spence Jr. was really minding his own business, and Blair Cobbs decided to start going in and just outright dissing him. Now, I understand the concept of building your own fight. Boxing, a lot of people don't take this into consideration because they look at boxing as just a sport, but it's also entertainment. Floyd Mayweather showed you that it's entertainment. That's why he has all the records for the live gates and all the top 10. He's all through the top 10 because Floyd, he mastered the business as well. And I'm not disrespecting Floyd the fighter because Floyd can fight. Offense, defense, he got the whole package. But all in all, Floyd Mayweather also had the gift of gab and mastered the art of storytelling and making his matches interesting. So I understand that. Some of my favorite fighters, just to name a few, Floyd Mayweather, Roy Jones Jr., didn't I just say that? Muhammad Ali, Prince Nassim Hamed, Mike Tyson, all great showmen. The difference with Blair the Flair, is he was considered an older prospect, like a 32, 33-year-old prospect, and he had 15 fights, and he was talking the greasiest as if he was even a David Benavidez who's beaten Anthony Durrell, somebody like that. Like David Benavidez was a 2-time champion with the WBC at super middleweight, and he was the first ever to stop Anthony Durrell. So I can understand David Benavidez talking the talk that David Benavidez says, but for Blair the Flair, he was just going off on a tangent and trying to roast people like Errol Spence Jr., Jerron Boots Ennis out of Philly, and Vergil Ortiz, who was just forced to pull out of his last fight with Michael McKinson, and Blair the Flair got elevated to the main event as a result of Vergil Ortiz. Now, just to give you guys a little bit of backstory as to what Blair the Flair said about Errol Spence. Roll the clip.
I don't see strength in Errol Spence's eyes. I don't see Errol Spence winning that fight. Something's going to happen again, and he's going to lose that fight. If he doesn't lose it outside the ring, he will lose that fight inside the ring. He held on to those belts for far too long, He kept fucking pushing back and pushing back and pushing back the idea of fighting Terrence Crawford until he gets cursed. I mean, hell, that things like that happens inside and outside the ring. You have to be willing to prove that you're great.
They see me in the struggle. They see me fucking homeless, out here hurt, and still putting on major fights, destroying everybody in the ring, everybody in sparring. There was a big time, a very big gap. When I first turned pro, that I couldn't even get sparring. I couldn't get nobody to get in the ring with me. Nobody. So then we had Ennis. So the fuck what? We have Ennis. He ain't fighting nobody that's real. You know what I'm saying? We have all these fucking fighters that's building up to the, like, up the ladder, fighting nobody. Fighting old people that can't fight for themselves. Fighting people that already believe that they're gonna lose before they get in the ring. I'm fighting people that believe that they can beat me. Alexis Rocha believes he can beat me. This is gonna be a better fight and a bigger fight than Ortiz ever had. This is gonna be a bigger and a better fight than fucking Ennis ever had already. Cause let them go against him and some old shit like that, they're not gonna come with that kind of intensity. People believe that they can beat me. So you get to see the best in these fighters. When you fight me, I'm expecting your best. And I'm expecting to go through some adversity and overcome. You know why? Because I believe what God have given me have made me what I am. Great. Because I can see it already in his eyes. You think I can't see it?
What do you see?
You think I can't see what Alexis Rocha looked like when I look him in his eyes? You think I don't know what's happening with Errol Spence? Mentally, spiritually? It's all over his face. And when I look him in his eyes, I don't see a winner. I don't see a victorious winner in what he's going through. Everybody's going through it. Struggles, trials, tribulations. I don't see it from him.
As you guys heard, Blair the Flair had a lot on his mind and he had a lot to say. So whether you agree with it or not, Errol Spence, he didn't start it, but he decided to finish it. That's why he called him a bum. You know, some people are going to be like, that's OD. You don't have to, when they go low, you go high and stuff like that. But you got to understand that these fighters, at the end of the day, they're still people. People forget that fighters, no matter what their threshold for pain is or how professional they are, they're men and women just like you and me, you know, and you guys watching the videos. So they have their limits as well. And the thing is, I'm not saying I condone like kicking someone when they're down, but I could be a petty person as well. And I think in the situation where Errol Spence is, he literally is training for the Ordenis Ugas fight, which should be a great fight again, April 16th. And he was minding his own business. And Blair the Flair started, I guess you could say, clout chasing and mentioning his name and Canelo's name and Vergil Ortiz's name and the great Jerron Boots Ennis, one of my favorite up-and-comers, out of nowhere. So a lot of people I've seen online, on Twitter, they're making fun of Blair the Flair. And it's hard for me not to say that I didn't see it coming. Going into the fight, the amount of stuff that Blair Cobbs was talking, I knew it would be bad if he were to lose his fight. I was like, man, you got to make sure you win this fight, because social media, the internet is undefeated. Just like Floyd easy work. I ain't got to worry about it. Undefeated. So you got to make sure if you talk that talk that you walk that walk. That's, people are not going to accept anything less. So it's hard for me to believe other people like Vergil Ortiz Jr., Jerron Boots Ennis, they're not laughing, even though Errol Spence was the one that kind of posted the video and made comments on social media. I can imagine those other guys that were being picked on by Blair Cobbs have the same sentiments. Let me know how I did in the video. If you're digging the content, subscribe. I'm the best in boxing history. That's all y'all need to know. Without further ado, in I'm out. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation.